Good Shabbos. Research has shown that the most powerful, most impactful way of conveying information is through stories. Neuroscientists have discovered that when a person learns new information through a story, far more of their brain power is used in processing that information. A person sitting in a lecture or a meeting and listening to dry information, raw data, is using only two particular areas of their brain. When a person gains this information through a story, however, nearly every area of the brain is activated. A story will trigger a person's imagination, their senses, and their emotions. The listener paints a richly textured picture of the events in their own mind, complete with feelings and emotions, thereby absorbing the story and its lessons far more deeply. This scientific observation can help us understand better why our very identity as a people is a story. Yetziyas Mitzrayim, the story of the Exodus, defines who we are and informs so much of what we do as Jews. Let's begin with a simple question. Why does Hashem take the Jewish people out of bondage through such a long, drawn-out process? Why the need for all the miracles of the plagues, the back and forth between Moshe and Paro? The Torah tells us the reason for all of this, quite plainly, when it states several times over the course of the plagues that they are meant to teach Egypt and the world who is Hashem and what are his limitless capabilities. Several times Hashem says, L'ma'an te'da, so that they will know that I am Hashem and there is none like me. But surely all of this could have been accomplished more quickly and efficiently. Hashem could have taught them this lesson and redeemed his people in one instant. So the Torah in this week's Parsha spells out another critical reason for this entire miraculous process. Uleman tisaper ba'aznei bincha uven bincha es asher hisalalti b'Mitzrayim ve'es ososai asher samti vam. And so that you may recount, tisaper, to your children and your grandchildren about everything I brought upon the Egyptians. Hashem wanted these lessons to be a story, to be a tale of unfolding events that could be illustrated with words and placed in the imaginations of future generations. Rav Yosef Dov Soloveitchik notices how the Torah uses the word tisaper instead of other words for storytelling. The Rav observes that this word is also the word used for a scribe, a sofer. And what this means is that when the lessons that Hashem wanted to teach are conveyed specifically through a story, a Sippur, they are inscribed indelibly, like a sofer, within the minds and hearts of those who receive the story. The very word Sippur, the very act of storytelling, accomplishes the very deep penetration, the inscribing into our identity that neuroscientists have discovered within the act of storytelling. When we transmit this story to our children, to each other, we stimulate all sorts of images and feelings in our personalities. The stories of suffering under cruel enslavement, of fantastic supernatural events, of triumphant departure and travel provide the recipient of these tales so much to engage with their minds. They inspire the imagination to picture them. They inspire an emotional response to what our ancestors experienced and endured. And once a year, we consume foods as part of this storytelling to internalize even more deeply all of these elements. We receive our identity as a story because stories engage our entire being. Furthermore, we receive our identity as a story to remind us that we are the next chapter, and that we can draw upon the lessons of earlier chapters to guide us in our generation. Our story, our living story, shapes who we are and what we can be. Good Shabbos.